The, the absolute actually in our scriptures, it means the cause of all causes, the only one that existed before everything else, anything else, and the only one who exists after the annihilation of the material world at the end of Brahma's day or the end of Brahma's life. The absolute is Satchida Anand Vigraha, which is eternal, all-knowing and blissful. In chapter 7, Lord Krishna reveals the knowledge of the absolute, which is Lord Krishna is the supreme, he is the supreme truth, the supreme cause of and sustaining force of everything, both material and spiritual. So all the material worlds as well as the spiritual worlds rely on him. Of his creation, 3/4 of his creation is spiritual and only 1/4 is material. And then even that 1/4 includes perhaps millions of universes and billions of planets. So at once, we all in Krishna consciousness surrender unto him in devotion and look for some kind of salvation of our being, our life. The human life is to actually serve the Supreme Lord and realize that what's real inside us is an eternal servant of Krishna. So by reviving our pure devotion, one returns to Krishna in the spiritual realm. The supreme reality, the absolute truth, has 3 aspects as explained in Bhagavatam. So number 1 is the all-pervading Brahman, which is the effulgence from Krishna in the spiritual world. It's called the Brahm Jyoti also. And then there is the Lord within our hearts, that is the Paramatma. And then the Supreme Person who lives in the spiritual world, that is Lord Krishna. Bhagavan, which is the Supreme Person, he is the source of Brahman and Paramatma. They are both expansions of the Absolute. In Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 main subject matters. Bhagavad Gita talks about Ishvara, which is the Supreme, Jiva, which is us living entities, not the physical bodies, but what's actually inside us, the real driving force, which lives forever. And then the third element is the Prakriti, the material world around us, including other planets and the universes. And then there is Kala, which is the time factor, which is the arrow of time. That is also Krishna's energy, follows his instructions and does what needs to be done. Then there is Kama, that is what results from our actions when we have material interests, material desires. So my name is Yadunath Das, and I thank you for your presence. Please pray, bless me, that I may say something worthy of the sacrifice of your time. So please make a contribution or ask a question if you need to. I shall be very grateful for that. And if we have time at the end of the class, then we can run a little Bhagavad Gita quiz for the children and yourselves. So we will do some chanting to invoke auspiciousness and offer prayers of gratitude. Please join me in chanting. Otherwise, just hear these in meditation. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Gopi Jan Vallabha Girvaradhari, Gopi Jan Vallabha Girvaradhari, Yashodhanandan Braj Jan Ranjan, Yashodhanandan Braj Jan Ranjan, Yamuna Tira Banachari, Yamuna Tira Banachari,
Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Jai Gopi Jan Vallabha Girivardhari. Jan Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandan Braj Jana Ranjanam. Yashodhanandan Braj Jana Ranjanam. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulanand, Radha Gokulanand, Radha Gokulanand Shri Radhe. Jai Radha Gokulanand, Radha Gokulanand, Radha Gokulanand Shri Radhe. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai. So Arjuna is a dear friend of Krishna. Lord shares the knowledge of the Absolute with his dear friend. So same as us, when we talk to our close friends, we don't hold anything back. We open our heart to them. Likewise, that's the conversation which is happening here. So what is very beautiful at the end of, after Krishna has spoken, he turns to Arjuna, he says, look, I have expressed my opinions to you. Now what you do is your personal choice. So Krishna is so kind that he leaves it to us whether we follow him or not. He is no dictator. He wants us to come to him willingly by our own free will and choose him all the other distractions of the material distractions. So I shall recite the verse 7.7. Then I shall read the translation by Srila Prabhupada and then the purport as well. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mata paratram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani ganaiva. So Lord Krishna says, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So I read it one more time. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread, a mala. Purport. There is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Absolute Truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Absolute Truth is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the Absolute Truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the Supreme Absolute Truth. That is also the affirmation of Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, that is the Supreme Absolute Truth. Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is our primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the Absolute Truth is the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalists, however, argue on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Shveshashvatra Upanishad 3.10. Tato yad uttarataram tad arupam anamayam ya itad vidur amrataste bhavanti athitre duhakam evapayanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval and living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods. Human beings and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence, who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental. But those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. So that is that particular verse from the Shvetashvatra Upanishad, which the impersonalists quote quite a lot. And then Prabhupada says, the impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam. But this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, as described in Brahma Samhita, which has been quoted above. Other verses in Shvetashvatra Upanishad substantiate the personal nature of our Supreme Lord as follows. Vedaham mitam purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamsa parastat tameva viditvati mrityumiti nanya pantha vidyate yanya yasmat param naparam asti kinchid yasman nanyo nirjo joyto joyo asti kinchid vriksha eva stabdho divi tishtati ekas tanadam tanitam purham tanidam purnam purushena sarvam. Translation. I know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than the knowledge of this Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to me, superior to that Supreme Person, because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest, and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree and he illuminates the transcendental sky, and as the tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies, which are material as well as spiritual. From these verses, one concludes that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by his multi-energies, both material and spiritual. Om Jnanatimrindhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurudev Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Bhadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evcha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasdi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So the Supreme Lord is sharing with Arjuna the knowledge of the Absolute, which is Krishna himself, that he is the ultimate truth and no other knowledge and truth is superior to him. Everything rests upon him, and yet he is separate from everything else, everything. So we talked about the meaning of the Absolute earlier. So let us consider what Krishna means when he says that everything rests upon Krishna as the pearls are strung on a thread. So Bhagavad Gita itself has all the answers. So when Krishna shows the Virat Roop to Arjuna, Arjuna sees all the planets in his body and all the warriors of Kurukshetra. At that time, he's talking in Kurukshetra, running into his mouth with broken limbs, blood coming out of them. So in this way, it shows the, how everything is coming out of Krishna and going back into Krishna. So, and then on the Brahma Ghat, when Krishna is playing with the Gopa friends and his brother Balram. So they've been playing for a while, and after a little while, the Gopas go back to Mother Yashoda and say, look, Krishna has been eating dirt from the banks of Yamuna at Brahma Ghat. And so Mother Yashoda says, how can that be? I have given him good lunch, good breakfast. Why would he eat the dirt from the banks of Yamuna? And then the Gopas say, if you don't trust us, why don't you talk to Balram? And Balram nods his head. And so Mother Yashoda chastises Krishna, asks him to come over and then open his mouth, to show what he has been eating. So what does Mother Yashoda see? So she sees the whole universes, and the whole universe and the whole universes, all the planets, and even herself in his mouth. And this is the wonder of our Lord. So he discloses that to Mother Yashoda, but after that the Yogmaya covers the memory of Mother Yashoda. She carries on thinking that, he is a little boy, that is her little boy. So that is another example given in Bhagavad Gita, which shows how everything is within Lord Krishna. Then in the creation, Mahavishnu lying in the lap of Sheshnag in the causal ocean with millions of universes coming out of the pores of his body. So the whole creation is happening there. In each universe, the Supreme Lord enters as Purusha avatar expansions. So in each universe there is a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lying in the universal ocean, from which the lotus stems actually give birth to Brahma in each different universe. And then there is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu lying in the milk ocean, which enters into all our bodies as a super soul and resides with our soul in our hearts. Along with Brahma, Vishnu, the other Vishnu Brahma, Vishnu expansion, and Shiva enter each universe also. Vishnu is another name for Krishna in the spiritual world, but Vishnu here in the material world is an expansion of Lord Vishnu in the spiritual world. And these are called, we talked about earlier about Purusha avatars, these are the Guna avatars. And Vishnu is the mode of goodness for the maintenance of all the universe. And then Brahma, which is in the mode of passion, that is for creating the populations in those worlds, populating the worlds, which are at that stage quite empty. And Lord Shiva, he represents the mode of ignorance, which is for the destruction of the universe at the end of Brahma's life or end of Brahma's life. And then further along in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 7, Krishna explains many things. He says that he is the taste of water, he is the taste in the water, he is the light in the light of the sun and the moon, he is sound in the ether, in space. Om. Lord Krishna says he is the ability in man, so if anybody, whatever anybody has is a gift from Krishna. So strong men, able people, they have a gift from the various karmic reactions from the past, so they have a certain amount of additional ability. And Krishna says he is the ability of man. He is the fragrance of the earth. So if you go for a walk in the morning in the woods or in the fields, and there's a beautiful fragrance comes out, and Krishna says he is the fragrance of the earth. He is the original seed of existence. And Krishna says he is the prowess of all the powerful men, and he is the austerity in the sages. And austerity, Krishna owns everything. He is the most wealthiest, most handsome, most powerful, yet he is the highest renunciate, and therefore that's where the austerity of the sages comes. He gives that as a gift. And Krishna sort of gives us the knowledge, the memory, and also the forgetfulness. He says that in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Forgetfulness is very necessary. Can you imagine if my soul remembers all the past relationships in previous lives, and also where I have been and who the parents were, etc., the life will become absolutely intolerable. You just will not be able to function. I will not be able to function. So Lord, that is the reason Lord also gives the forgetfulness. In further along in Bhagavad Gita 11:32, Supreme Lord says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am." He's talking at the Kurukshetra, the battle of Kurukshetra is about to start. So Lord says, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you Pandavas. 5 Pandavas will be left at the end of the war. There were Ashwatthama and few others also. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." So that is Krishna's plan at that time. And all Arjuna was required to do was to carry out his duty, so he can carry out the plan which Krishna had for his own. His reasons can never be understood. So this way it can be seen that everything is connected connected with and rests on the Supreme Lord Krishna. Our mood in understanding this verse and reading Bhagavad Gita should be one of humility, not a challenge. And for the rest of the verse, we will have a logical approach to understanding this. So we will go through various other scriptures and see how they describe the Absolute and what do they say. We've already listened to Srila Prabhupada purport, which from the Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, all knowledgeable and blissful. Excuse, there's another kirtan going on, so I'm competing. I'll do the best I can. So, in Bhagavad Gita 10-12, verses 12 to 13, after Arjuna has been listening to Bhagavad Gita and he's understood what the Supreme Lord is saying, then he says, Arjuna vacha param brahma param bhrama pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhum ahustvam rasa sarve devasir nardas tatha asito devalo vayasha swayam chaiva bravisime. So Arjuna says to Krishna, having understood this, what he has been listening, he says to Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasadeva confirm the truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses, which is the Chaturshloki Gita, became completely free from all doubt and accepted Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously Krishna has already stated that he is the originator of everything and everything and everyone, originator of everything and everyone. So every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend that Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth in all the other scriptures. Vedic injunctions confirm that only one who takes the devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, and whereas others cannot, each and every word of this verse is spoken by Arjuna is confirmed in the Vedic injunctions. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. A very wonderful verse, wonderful shalok here from invocation to Sri Iso Upanishad. This was the first Upanishad written. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadya Purnamiva Vashishyate. So this verse translated, the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. All emanations are perfect. Whatever is produced of complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. This is a powerful verse. So whatever comes from Krishna is complete. Mahavishnu is releasing all these universes, so they are complete. They got all the resources that are needed to sustain the populations, and they are perfect. What makes them imperfect is people like us. The desires and the karmas of the living entities are what create the shortages, because what Lord has given us is self-sufficient and complete. And also mathematics here, so basically you take perfect from perfect, what remains is perfect. That is the mathematicians kind of discovering the definition of infinity in the recent centuries. So phenomenal world is the world as we see through our eyes and our senses, the material world. And we can also see a different world through intuition and bhakti. So this verse explains how this world emanates from him, and that includes everything, animate and inanimate. The only difference between his creation are the degrees of consciousness. So an inanimate object like stone has no consciousness, but as we go through the different living creatures, the consciousness improves further and further, increases, until we get to the human beings. And this is what the purpose of the human life is, to remove all the useless layers till we discover the divine within us, that all along the divine sparks, Paramatma, was always residing within us. That we are a complete unit because we have emanated from Krishna. And we have to just realize it, not imagine it. And for that we need to do some work. And then the other scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, tells us where Lord Brahma is praying to Krishna, praying to the Supreme. Ekastva Mahatma Purusha Purana Satya Swayam Jyotirananta Daya Nityo Akshro Jashro Sukho Niranjana Purnadvayo Mukta Upadahito Amrita. Lord Brahma says to the Supreme, you are the one Supreme Soul, the primeval Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth, self-manifested, endless and beginningless. You are eternal and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival and free from all material designations. Your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with the material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. What a wonderful definition of the Absolute. So Brahma is a realized personality, the firstborn. He's saying that. One of our acharyas, Srila Sridhar Swami, explains how the various terms of this verse demonstrate that the transcendental body of Lord Krishna is free from the characteristics of material bodies. So Krishna is eternally youthful, same age, does not age like the material bodies. So all material bodies go through 6 phases, which is birth, growth, maturity, reproduction, decline and destruction. That is the nature of material body. But Lord Krishna does not take material birth, since he is the original reality, a fact clearly indicated here in the word Adya, the original. Similarly, the word Purna means that full and complete. It refutes the concept that Lord Krishna could grow, since he is ever existing in fullness. Even one's material body becomes mature, one can no longer enjoy as in youth, but the word Ajsara Sukha, enjoying unobstructed happiness, indicate that Lord Krishna's body never reaches so-called middle age, since it is always full of spiritual bliss, youthful bliss. In other words, Lord Krishna's transcendental bodies, free from the transformations of material bodies. The Lord does, however, create innumerable worlds and expand himself as innumerable living entities, but the Lord's so-called reproduction is completely spiritual and does not take place at a certain phase of bodily existence. Rather, it constitutes the Lord's eternal proclivity to expand his spiritual bliss and glories. So Vedic scriptures this way establish Krishna as the supreme absolute truth, which is what this verse is. But then Krishna further tells us, how can we realize that supreme? How can we realize the absolute? And this is the opening verse of chapter 7. Radha Gokulanand ki jai. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Mayashkta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asanshayam Samagramam Yatha Ganasyasi Tatshirun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, which is Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So in this chapter, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described here. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people become attached to Krishna. So this Bhagavad Gita describes the living entity as non-material spirit soul. So we are all expansions from Krishna, what's real inside us. So that is a non-material spirit soul which is eternal and underlying nature similar to Krishna's. Is capable of elevating itself to self-realization by different types of yoga which have been described. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga, Bhakti yoga. So Dhyana yoga states that steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise, concentrating one mind. This is what the yogis do, they focus on the super soul. So everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge beyond any doubt. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path to Krishna consciousness, which is the Bhakti yoga. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti, which is the effulgence from the Supreme, Brahman, and Paramatma, which is the localized super soul in our bodies. So by practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entity, the material nature, and their manifestations, and the relationship between these at a spiritual level. So later on in Bhagavad Gita 1866, which is the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharma parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami masucha. Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So after explaining Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Lord opens another door for his devotees. Simply surrender unto him and he will deliver us from all karmic reactions. How much does he want us to come to him? So in terms of surrender, how can we surrender to Krishna? And that is done by bhakti, which is by the mercy of the Guru or a Vaishnava. And there are 9 ways to perform bhakti in devotion and surrender to the Supreme Lord. Any one of these is good enough. So these, please help me out. Shravanam, what does that mean to you? Shravanam, anybody? Please. Hearing. So hearing about Lord Krishna, which is the katha that we're trying to do here as well, that is also Shravanam. And the ultimate in that was Rukmini Devi. She was a daughter of a king, and Narada Muni used to come to see them, and he used to talk about Krishna. So she used to sort of hear about Krishna, and after that there was nothing else that he wanted other than Krishna. So then there is the Kirtanam. So Shravanam is one, listening to the Krishna Katha. Kirtanam is glorifying Lord Krishna, and Haridas Thakur is the ultimate authority in that. So Kirtanam can be just chanting on our own, or chanting in a communal way and in a loud voice. So both are equally good processes, but all we need is our pure heart and focus and no offenses. So Smarnam is remembering Lord Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj never forgot Krishna, and Krishna never forgot Prahlad Maharaj. In the end, he comes to rescue him. Pad Sevanam, attending the lotus feet of our Lord. And then Archanam, worshipping of Lord Krishna. Vandanam, praying to Lord Krishna. So Advaita Acharya, one of our, the Panch Tattvas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciple. So he, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came into this world, Advaita Acharya prayed to Lord Krishna to please come, pray to Vishnu, please come, because the world was so bad, so difficult in 1434, 1450, whatever. India was ruled by foreign forces, and all our structures had been unsettled. So Advaita Acharya said, I cannot do it on my own, please come. And then Lord Krishna said, Advaita Acharya is asking me to come, I must come. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in 1486, I think. Dasyam, becoming a servitor to Lord Krishna, service. Hanumanji is the ultimate. Sakhyam, becoming dear friend of Lord Krishna, which is Arjuna. And Atma Nivedan, surrendering, full surrender to the Supreme Lord. And here Bali Maharaj or Ambarisa Maharaj are the authorities given to us. So as far as we are concerned, we chant 16 rounds of Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So one round is 108 beads in the mala. So one round is chanting that Mahamantra on each bead, so 108 times. And then that 16 rounds of that is what's is the order of our gurus on a daily basis, and follow the process of devotional service and 4 regulatory principles. And as I mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago and made the bhakti much easier, even easier. He said, just chant the name of the Lord, Hare Krishna. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalavnasti, eva nasti, eva gatir anyatha. Just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So there is no difference between Lord Krishna and his and the Mahamantra, the holy name. Chanting with this, all we have to do is to chant with attention, and then listen what we are chanting, and then affection and without any offenses. So with a pure heart, this will lead to spiritual realization. That is the assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I thank you so much for giving me your company. Hare Krishna. So we got a few minutes. Would you like to do a little quiz? How many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? Oh, wonderful. How many types of yogas are there in Bhagavad Gita, described in Bhagavad Gita? How many different types of yogas are there? Yes, please, again. That's Ashtanga Yoga, that's got, yes, Ashtanga Yoga. That's just one yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is just one yoga, which is part of the Dhyan Yoga. But then other yogas are there, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So the ultimate is the Bhakti Yoga. All those three other yogas are helping us towards the Bhakti Yoga. And okay, so in terms of the other than Arjuna, who was listening to Bhagavad Gita? Sanjay. It's wonderful. And that is the mercy. So Sanjay was able to recite it to Dhritarashtra, and then that's how the Bhagavad Gita has come to us. So it was in that palace of, which wasn't such a good palace, but the good soul, a great thing came from there. All right. Do you know how many people fought in the battle of Kurukshetra, the war of Kurukshetra? Yeah. So there is basically what's called the battalions, the formation battalions. There were 7 on the side of the Pandavas, Akshahini battalions, and 11 on the side of the Kauravas, because Krishna's armies fought for the Kauravas and Krishna was on Pandava's side. And each Akshahini has got around about 225,000 soldiers. So you can see 18 Akshahini battalions, and then multiply that by 225. That's about 4.5 million people. If you imagine that was 4,000, 5,000 years ago, the population of the world wasn't as big as it was. So it is said that it's all the warriors of the world at that time came to fight. All right, let me see. Do you want to say something? You know a lot.
I was wondering, how could Krishna's army fought for the gods?
How come?
Krishna's army fought for the gods.
Okay. The Krishna is everybody's equal for Krishna. You know, he does not favor anybody. He reciprocates, but he does not discriminate in any way. So what is happened was that the Krishna goes to see Duryodhan, and so he asked Duryodhan, I can be on your side, but then all my armies will fight with the Pandavas, or it's the other way, he can have the armies. So Duryodhan chose the armies of Krishna, and Arjuna was, is more to the story, but that's the essence of it. And so we wanted to be fair to to everybody, and that's what he offered. He offered it to himself to Duryodhana first, as it happens. So that's how it. And there, of course, Krishna did not carry any weapon, as you know, in the battle, and that was the wonderful confidence, wonderful surrender which Pandavas had to Lord Krishna. They said, "We don't want anything; we just want you." And that's how it ended up. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else want to say something? Prabhu, anything? Please correct me. Padsevanam, that's Lakshmi Devi. He said it's Lakshmi Devi. Is there anything else you please do add? Archanam and Vandanam is, I couldn't quite figure out, but I thought Advaita Acharya fits both categories, when he offered the Tulsi leaves and Ganga water to the Supreme. Please come and rescue us. So that has they're so close, they kind of, I did try to search it as well, Archanam, but I couldn't find anything. But if you do, please let me know next time we meet. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say? Anybody else? All right. I thank you very much for your company and your time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Radha Gokulanand ki jai. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
और आई थी घोड़ा आरती जब आपने कीबोर्ड से कुछ दबाया था कि आई डोंट नो बट आपने कीबोर्ड से कुछ दबाया था तो आई थी घोड़ा आरती एक बार आई डोंट नो यू प्रेस समथिंग एंड इट वाज देयर या I saw you when you were doing something with the keyboard. It came once. With the keyboard, yeah. But I don't know what you pressed. I've never done it here. No, because we have had this. Yeah, yeah. I know. You want to speak now? Okay, so go on.
Alicia, what do you sing? Gorarati.
Hare Krishna, anybody can sing.